Harland Williams is in the building, in the studio. He's right in front of me.
Hi.
You're here.
It's like looking in a mirror almost.
I know. We get mistaken for each other all the time. I know. It gets annoying, doesn't it?
Not for me.
I said, hey, welcome back to St. Louis. He said, man, it's been a long time. You looked at me like, man, you look familiar. I interviewed you, maybe 12 years ago.
12 years ago. But you're pre-family, pre-children. You had 2 kids.
Since then, yeah.
And a wife. And
thank you very much.
I know. You're welcome. Thank you.
Like, really thinking about it, after you and I met that long ago, 12 years, things really started coming together for me.
Yeah.
You were in and out of rehab at the time. Homeless, I think, right? Only had 9 fingers. Now you have 10.
And now things are going well.
So
Thank
cool,
you, Harland
man.
Williams.
You regenerated a finger like a pollywog.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
That's great.
I can't wait to see how things improve for me after you're gone. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
Well, I noticed when you walked in the room, you wouldn't handshake anybody. You're a fist bump guy.
Yeah, fist bump because we're kind of in flu season. And I don't know why the government doesn't do a national campaign like saying, handshakes are not appropriate. They're unhealthy because they say like 70% of the flu and cold viruses are transmitted through a handshake because you shake someone's hand and all that bacteria gets on you, touch your eyes and your mouth, and you got the flu.
You got various cavities that the virus then will find, and then
So during flu, so there's a handshaking season.
Well, they should eliminate the handshake completely. Like, there's no real purpose for it when you can get the same.
How about we just not touch each other?
How about headbutting? How about that? Hi, how are you? Conk.
Introduce him to Ron.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a guy here that has no hands.
Oh, really?
So that,
you don't have to worry about during the fall.
Yeah.
What happened to his hands?
It was a birth thing.
Oh, okay. So he's born with no hands.
No hands and 1 leg.
He's never had the flu.
Wow.
Yeah, he's never had the flu.
That's a great point.
Also, he is a champion dart thrower. So
he throws with his mouth.
You make that joke every time, but we've seen him throw darts, and it's incredible. He goes like this and fires them. It's nuts.
Does
he's
he
a bowler.
Does he have nubs?
Yeah.
So he throws with his nubs.
Literally like that.
He's a bowler.
He's a headbutter, too.
And an amazing typist.
He's a nub bowler. He can type?
Yeah, he types all day long. All day long.
I'd like to get a massage from that guy. How much does he charge?
$80. It's $80.
$80? A nub down.
For 90 minutes.
Me a nub down.
So are you a germaphobe? Would you say you're a germaphobe?
Nope, just with the handshakes. Because I travel a lot. I do shows all over the country. And then after my show, I do meet and greets, right? Mm-hmm. So I probably shake over 1,000 hands in a weekend. Yeah. And you got to figure somebody in that lot's going to have something. And so at one point in time, I was getting the flu or a cold 3 or 4 times a year. And I thought something's causing this. So I stopped shaking hands, not to be a douche, but just from health reasons. And I rarely ever get sick anymore.
And the thing is, now you have to explain that to people.
Well,
yeah.
I could tell immediately because you walked in and I went to shake your hand, and you didn't just like this. Like, you had your arm extended, like, I don't do that. Let's do this instead.
Yeah.
And I
the
appreciate
message
that.
was clear.
I do appreciate that.
Yeah.
And it's still the same. It's the same greeting.
Yeah.
But why you got to interlock your fingers,
Yeah, you're watching these people online for the meet and greets, rubbing their, like snot's coming out of their nose.
Yeah.
And what do they say about the hand sanitizer? To get rid of the flu virus, you need to rub your hands for 5 minutes for that to even be effective.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
5 minutes.
Oh, my God.
Because even just a little rub, that does nothing.
That's what she said.
Hey.
Wow. It's that kind of comedy you'll see tonight and tomorrow at Helium Comedy Club.
Yeah, you bet.
So when we had mentioned that you were coming in, I don't know how many people were like, dude, my kids love Puppy Dog Pals.
Yeah.
Is that his kids are all in on Puppy Dog Pals?
Oh, that's awesome.
It's bingo and rolly forever.
Which is weird because his kid's 32.
Oh, wow.
I told my 4-year-old daughter, I said, hey, I'm meeting Bob today. She was all excited. So
tell her Bob said hi.
I will.
So Puppy Dog Pals is a cartoon on Disney.
Disney Junior,
Disney Junior.
And they played on Disney too, I guess, yeah.
So, I mean, the mouse owns you now. The mouse has you.
Well, they don't have me, but I have them.
They are.
Yeah.
Fine.
We have each other. We're in a relationship.
That's good.
And I created this show, Puppy Dog Pals, and we're we're about to start our 3rd season, and kids love it.
Well, just to put it in perspective, so one episode, which is on YouTube, has over 58 million views.
Wow.
Wow.
One of your episodes, which is on YouTube.
Oh, yeah, that's the one I wrote, too. How about that?
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So how did you go from being in Half-Baked to voicing and creating a kid show for Disney?
It just, that's the beauty of Hollywood, right? There's so many facets available. There's so many mediums. And so I just write a lot of stuff, and I went in and pitched this show to them, and they liked it, and we just developed it, and it got on the air, and the rest is history.
That's it.
Yeah.
You're working on the 3rd season now?
Third season, yeah.
I know your kids are a little older, Riz. Like that's kind of like just right. They just passed it. But it's one of the shows where, and I know you found these when you were raising your kids and everything. It's a show where
I'm
you
still
can,
raising them.
I'm talking about when they were super, super young and you use the TV as a babysitter sometimes. It's one of those shows you could turn on and you don't want to just ram your head into the wall. Like it is an actual like decent show. There's a plot to every episode.
Yeah.
Like it's not just this mindless stuff. There's a plot. There's a problem. It gets solved.
Are we learning lessons?
Songs. And it's good,
We're learning
man.
lessons like not sharing and bullying.
A little bit. It's not too over the head, but
some of these are very preachy. Some of these kid shows.
This one isn't. And this one, to what you were saying about for the adults, we slip in a lot of like cool references, like references to movies and pop culture, like. We'll do little scenes from Die Hard or Weekend at Bernie's.
Because
like
parents are watching.
That's
with the
right.
kids.
Yeah. So I get emails and tweets all the time from people like, "Thank you so much for making this watchable as a parent." And so,
well, that's damn cool that you're keeping the parent in the room.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, that's the formula you need to keep the parents engaged too. And I see even talking about it, man, you're smiling. You love Puppy Dog Pals.
I do,
You love it. That's your baby.
Well, it's amazing because it's in like 143 countries, and it's all over the world. It's like I think about it and I go, it's kind of a lot of children. It's their very first like show on TV, and so that'll be with them for the rest of their lives, and some of the sayings I've put in and catchphrases, and they'll probably be saying them for the rest of their lives, so it's kind of cool.
Did Disney ever tell you like, hey, kind of watch what you say, or how close are they monitoring you, Disney?
No, not at all.
Not at all?
I mean, like that, they knew when they took the show of my history, of my career in stand-up and my movies. And they don't care about. I mean, I've done a whole bunch of movies for Disney. I've done a sitcom for them. I've done a bunch of movies for them. So I'm part of that whole.
Was Rocket Man Disney?
Rocket Man was Disney. Sorority Boys was Disney. I mean, I did a sitcom, The Gina Davis Show was Disney. I mean.
You did did you do a couple episodes or at least a couple voices for Jake and the Neverland Pirates too?
I did a regular character on Jake and the Neverland Pirates. I mean, I've done tons of stuff for Disney. Yeah. So we have a great relationship, and hopefully a lot more to come.
What's the thing you get recognized most for?
Mostly all my movies. Like it's not one movie. It's because I've been in some really cool movies, so. It's always Dumb and Dumber or Something About Mary or Rocket Man or Down Periscope or
Down Periscope.
Employee of the Month is one of my favorites.
Half-Baked.
I love that one.
What's the one thing that people like shout out to you? What's like the most common thing? Harland Williams walking down the street and people shout out what? Is it 7 Minute Abs? Is it Buttercup?
Or it's that, or it's maybe lines from Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah, the pumpkin pie haircutted freak.
Pumpkin pie. You've been sucking back on Granddaddy's cough syrup there, buddy.
We played earlier the clip of you in Something About Mary, and I'm going to play it again. And I just want to ask a couple questions about it.
Sure.
Listen to this. 7 Minute Abs.
When I play that, does it take you back to filming?
Oh yeah.
Like you remember exactly,
exactly
when it was. You're sitting holding the duffel bag.
Yeah, I was in Miami, Florida, in the middle of the night, and we were rigged up on a trailer. A trailer was pulling a car down this back road, and we must have done like 15 takes, 20 takes, and And me and Ben were in the car, and Peter Farrelly, the director, was sitting on the hood of the car. They took the windshield out, and he was sitting on the hood. And for some of the takes, and this is just the Farrelly brothers' sense of humor, in the middle of our takes, Peter would fart. Like for real, do a real fart and try and break us. And me and Ben, to our credit, we never snapped. Like we stayed in it. And after the take was over, we all just laughed because he's such a
just some of the lines that you say here.
Right, that's good. Unless, of course, somebody comes up with 6-minute abs, then you're in trouble, huh?
No, not 6. I said 7. Nobody's coming up with 6. Who works out in 6 minutes? You won't even get your heart going, not even a mouse on a wheel.
Good point.
7's the key number here. Think about it. 7 11s?
Yeah.
7 dwarfs? 7, man, that's the number. 7 chipmunks twirling on a branch, eating lots of sunflowers on my uncle's ranch. You know.
There's no way that was in the script, right?
Every line you just played, I made up on the spot.
That's what
we were thinking. Yeah.
That's what we were thinking.
Every single line there, I just made up in the moment.
So was
incredible.
there when you saw the scene you were going to be in? Was there actually dialogue written by the Farrelly brothers?
Yeah, the whole first half, right up to that point, actually, where he says, "What if somebody has 7?"
Mm-hmm.
So right up to that, it was all pretty much right off the script, and then everything after he said that, I just made the rest of it up. So it's completely improvised.
I love when you go, it's like you're talking about Gruyere cheese, and it's time for brie, baby.
You know that old children's tale from the sea? It's like you're dreaming about gorgonzola cheese when it's clearly brie time, baby. Step into my office.
Why?
Because you're fired.
Well, and Ben's still going, why?
Yeah, Ben was great because he just rolled with it. Like I just kept going and going and going, and he just, to his credit, he just stayed in character, and he was so subtle that it really made everything bounce. You know, I couldn't have really done it without him like being so in place.
Well, you got to have a good partner like that.
That's right.
That could roll.
Oh yeah, he was just great.
You were in so many movies like that. Did you get that reputation? I know there's more than just you, but that crowd of, hey man, if we need somebody that can go off script and just ramble like that, here's our guy.
Yeah, I think so. Most of the directors I worked with, not all of them, but I'd say about 80% would ask me to kind of go there. So I would.
And
I love it.
when they do that and they're giving you an improv and clearly it's working, it can't be just a one-off thing. Is there 4 or 5 different takes of you just spouting off?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I would love to see the rest of the ones they didn't use. There's probably another 20 minutes of stuff I didn't use. Like,
and I'm sure
every take I was different.
And I'm sure when you watch the movie, you go, what did they leave in? Like, it's probably, what did they cut out? What did they leave in?
Well, because it's all improvised in the moment, to be honest, when I saw the movie in the theater, I didn't remember saying any of it because you're not memorizing it. It's just like you blurt it out and it's gone. And, like I said, we probably did about 6 or 7 takes where I just improvised. So I didn't remember one word. So when I went to see the movie, I was just like, what the hell? where did that, like, same with Dumb and Dumber, like, I didn't remember any of it.
Oh, really? Here's you and Dumb and Dumber.
Oh, my God.
Pull over.
Were you really riding the motorcycle, by the way?
So the part where I pull up to the window and say, pull over, and I'm beside them, I'm on a motorcycle, but they're pulling me on a rig. And then the other scene where you actually see the motorcycle pull away, that's a stunt driver. And you can tell because the stunt driver, when he pulls away, he's like, you can see, if you rewatch the movie, he kind of like
wiggles the bike.
He wiggles like, but he like burns out, like he like torques the bike like a cop would never do that. And I think he was trying to show I'm a speedy driver, and it's weird. He shouldn't have done that, in my opinion. It looks weird, but I only noticed it because it wasn't me.
Can you ride a motorcycle in real life?
Yeah, I have a motorcycle. I did a movie called Superstar with Will Ferrell, and I ride the bike all the way through that.
So how did you get the role for Dumb and Dumber? Because you could ride? Like, was that part of it? Part of like, we need a guy that could ride a motorcycle?
No, I got the role for Dumb and Dumber because Jim Carrey loved my stand-up, so he asked the Farrellys to see me, and so I went in, and then I was originally up for the co-starring role with Jim. So I was in the running for that originally, and then,
we hate Jeff Daniels, right? In this room?
What a jerk.
But in the end, it was oh my God, poor
We got your
guy.
back, man.
Yeah, let's go get him. But in the end, it was at the end of the auditions. It was me and him. I remember the final audition was me and him in the waiting room, and I was like, "There's a guy that's been nominated for Oscars." And I just moved here from Canada, and I've never acted in my life. And I kind of knew who was going to get it, and so that was it. But then the Farrellys, they just asked me to do that cop role. Like I didn't have to audition for it. I think because they liked me, they wanted me to be involved. So it was great. They didn't owe me anything, And then they asked me to do that role, and I was elated.
An iconic scene.
No, it's a cardigan, but thanks for noticing.
Yeah! Killer boots, man! Pull your vehicle to the side of the road. You fellas been doing a bit of boozing, have you?
Now, was that improv?
Yeah, because I said boozing. Yeah, because I think in the script, if you fellas been drinking, and I just I was so scared when it was my first movie. It's the first time I'd really acted in anything, and so we did about 5 or 6 takes right off the script, and then Peter says to me, he goes, "Harland, do it your way now," and I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Just do it the Harland way." And I just said, "Okay, I think I know what you mean." And so I just went off. And so that was the start of it. I just started changing all the words and making stuff up. And
When you're on a set like that for the first time, you got Jim Carrey, Farrelly Brothers, Jeff Daniels. Are you scared?
Yeah,
you go, man, they're gonna figure out I don't know what I'm doing. I'm gonna mess up. I don't want to be the guy where they have to redo everything.
Yeah, all that stuff. I was terrified.
Man.
But I was also at the same time like really excited and in my gut, I was like, I know I can do this. Like I had
That's
a
awesome.
confidence about it too.
Can't you feel it right now?
Yeah,
That
it's so
feeling
awesome.
of walking into something where it's the unknown.
Yeah.
And then go, man, I just don't want to be. For me, it'd be I don't want to be the guy to screw this up.
Yeah.
Well, you walked into the unknown, and like you said with Puppy Dog Pals, like putting in certain words and phrases into the lexicon. It's 2019, and there's probably 1,000 people being called pumpkin pie haircutted freaks
Well, here's the
today.
Bit of boozing, have you? Sucking back on Grandpa's old cough medicine?
No, oh no, sir. Oh no. No.
Oh no.
Well, that line is it's very sentimental, believe it or not. When we were little kids, we used to go to my grandparents' house for holidays, for Christmas and whatever, and my grandfather used to like to have a drink, but they didn't want the kids to know he was having a drink, so he used to say to my grandmother, go, "Mother, bring me another glass of cough syrup." And so when I did that scene with the booze, that term popped into my head, and so I just improvised it. And so now people have been quoting that line to me since the movie came out. So every time I hear it, it makes me think of my dearly departed grandfather. So it's kind of got a really cool another level to it for me.
For me, if I'm on a movie set for the first time or doing something for the first time, I'm thinking if I screw up once, they're going to fire me.
Right.
I'm just going to get fired.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting, even for this job. I've been doing it for 20 years.
I think you're going to be okay. I think you're going to be all right here. I feel the same way, though. It's like if he's the brand new one on the set and it's your first try and somebody's kind of almost doing you a favor or seeing your stand-up and going, let's give him a shot, my thought would be everybody on the entire set's going, well, this isn't working. Or I regret this or something like that. That's what would be in my head. But I guess that's got to be your motivation to kick ass, though.
Yeah, I was just like, you know what? I can do this. Like, I'm here for a reason. I believe in fate and destiny and all that stuff. And I just thought, I'm in the comedy world, and I got to trust in my comedic timing and all that stuff. And I just went for it. And I thought, if they don't like it, that's on them. But I'm gonna bring what I bring.
And it must have, been an amazing experience working with Chappelle and Jim Brewer with Half Baked. Probably the same thing. It's like, how much fun did you guys have doing it, and how much stuff was actually scripted out?
Yeah. Well, they asked me to do that movie about 5 times. I said no to it. I didn't want to do it. And then the producers took me out for lunch and said, look, what do we got to do to get you to do this movie? And I said, I'll tell you what, you let me improvise every scene and I'll do it. And they said, done.
way.
Let's
Really?
go. Yeah.
That's incredible.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Where were you in your career that you had the balls to turn down a movie with those names?
Well, I mean, Dave Chappelle wasn't really.
Yeah, they were all
it was
young
your
kids.
contemporaries, though.
Yeah,
right?
it wasn't about Dave or the shit. It was because it was a pop movie. I just wasn't comfortable doing a movie about drugs. But then, you know, I just kind of needed time to process it and realize that, you know, as an actor, you could play anything. Like I was a serial killer. I was a cop. So a guy doing drugs is, you know, it's just a role. So I finally decided to do it. And then when they said they'd let me kind of go nuts with it, I was like, okay, this will be fun.
Here you go. I'm going to play another scene.
Oh, here we
Another
go.
scene for you. This is one of our favorites.
You must have been so hungry.
Oh, what the hell did you give my buttercup?
I just gave him some candy and some chips and some pink popcorn. And
How are you guys not just laughing the entire time? When he goes, oh! How are you not like just breaking the entire time? How many times did you have to do that?
We did it a lot, but you know, that's the thing with acting. Like, it's funny to other people, but in my brain, when I'm in it, like I'm that guy. So
Yeah.
it's like you know, comedians don't walk around laughing out loud at their own stuff, right? So I just believed I was that guy. So nothing I said was funny. It was just real.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
In the moment.
so it wasn't funny till I watched it
You're
back and
Dude.
I was like, this guy's an idiot. you know?
Again, there are lines in that movie that we're still saying. Squirrel Master coming out of left field. Like, all of that.
Let me finish this out.
Man,
My
it's so
buttercup.
good.
I just gave him some candy and some chips and some pink popcorn and some Funyuns.
This horse is a diabetic! You dumb son of a bitch!
No! I'm a peaceful man. I'm a school teacher.
Shut up! You're a cop killer!
I love horses. I love horses.
I love horses!
I love butter stuff.
Buttercup! Dang it!
Butternut.
So again, you're smiling because I'm seeing in your face that you're back there doing it, like back there filming that movie.
Well, there's a couple of really cool things about that scene. One, it's like I said about Ben Stiller. So the line was just, you killed Buttercup, and that was the end of the scene.
Uh-huh.
And I knew that if, you know, it's such a funny name, I thought I got to milk this name. And so I said Buttercup, Butterball, Butternuts. I said anything with butter lips. Like I said about 20 of them. And like Ben Stiller, the guy who played the cop was an improv actor from Toronto, and he picked up on it and he just went with it. And if he hadn't kept yelling at me, say it right, do it right, it never would have kept going.
Yeah.
And so to his credit, like it was because of him picking up on what I was doing that it played out. But it was just supposed to end after you killed the horse. He's a diabetic. I love Buttercup. You know, that was supposed
And
to
you
be
just kept going.
And we just kept going. Like I kept saying the name wrong, and he kind of kept rolling
Yeah.
with me. But the other thing that's great about this scene, why I'm smiling, is so I'm originally from Toronto, and if you go back and look at that movie, they shot it in front of a pizza parlor. Mm-hmm. And that pizza parlor is where I hung out as a kid with my high school buddies. We'd go there on Saturday night and have slices.
So wait, it's not New York City?
No.
Oh, I thought it was New York
Sorry.
City.
They did shoot some exterior stuff in New York, but the most of the movie was shot in Toronto. But to be doing it back where I grew up as a teen,
Yeah,
it was
weird, isn't it?
surreal. It was surreal. And my high school buddy Steve was sitting off camera watching. So it was just like the guy
like a full
I
circle
used to
moment.
hang out with at that pizza shop.
When you were working with Chappelle, did you go, man, this guy's going to be huge one day?
To be honest, no, because it was early on, and he was just on a trajectory like every other comedian. It's like, okay, he was doing well in the clubs, and the lucky guys like me and a few other guys got a shot at their own movies and got to. So he was just one of those guys that
It
was
was his
early
turn.
on. It was, so that didn't surprise me because he was definitely a guy that was doing well on the circuit, but I didn't know, necessarily that he'd blow up the way he did.
And then when he walked away from the Chappelle show, I mean, what do you say to yourself when you see that?
I say good for him. I think money can be a drug and it can be alluring, and I thought it was really great that he just stood by his convictions and had a bigger purpose than whatever was going on there, and he wanted to go away and find himself and not let the money kind of steer the ship. He let his conscience and his heart kind of guide his way.
Yeah, and he lives in Ohio, right? He lives in a nowhere. He doesn't live in L.A. He doesn't live in New York. Doesn't live in Chicago. Lives in Nowheresville, Ohio.
Yeah, they go on a farm actually.
Yeah, with his wife and kids, and that's where he goes.
Yeah.
That's the kind of guy he is.
Yeah.
Now, also, little did people know that you're a musician. You have a band.
Yeah.
With your cousin.
Yeah.
So your cousin is in the Bare Naked Ladies.
Yeah, that's right.
Did you know that?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
And you're in a group called The Cousins.
The Cousins, yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Yes, your cousin's like the keyboard player for the Bare Naked Ladies?
He's the keyboard and writes some of the songs, and he can play anything. He plays the accordion and the guitar and everything. But yeah, he's been with the band almost from the beginning. So we have a hobby band called The Cousins, and we actually just put out a new album like not too long ago called Rattlesnake Love, and it's on iTunes if you want to check it out.
I saw that the cover. It's like you guys all look pretty serious.
Yeah. It's funny because people think it's going to be comedy, but
it's not.
It's not, because he's such a good musician. He can play anything, and we've been kind of playing and writing and singing our whole lives. And so we just decided to put out some music, and
yeah, look, we got it on the screen here.
Oh my gosh!
Look at you guys. It's like a serious album cover.
Oh yeah.
You guys have your black long coats on, standing out in the middle of nowhere.
That's the Mojave Desert, man. That's up in Palmdale, California.
You know what? That pose on that cover is like, this is not a comedy album. This is serious music right here.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
Thank you.
You really are a Renaissance man. You do it all.
I like to. You only go through once, so I like to. It's like a buffet. You want to try all the different foods, right?
Movies, TVs, Disney, music. Look at this guy.
Can you juggle by chance?
I can't. I bet your buddy Nubs could, though.
And his name is Ron.
Yes.
His name is Ron.
We respectfully call him No Hands Ron.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
Harland
that's
Williams.
better than Nubs.
Harland Williams tonight and tomorrow at Helium Comedy Club, 7:30 and 10 o'clock shows.
Yeah.
And thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Let's not make it 12 years.
Yeah, let's not.
Let's make it maybe
What are you
6
doing
years.
tonight?
The kids, the kids.
Oh, man.
He's going to say he has to wash his hair, but now he's going to say the kids.
Because of you, I got kids and the wife. Harland Williams, everybody.